Hello, I'm Melanie Teegarden with Countryside Network, a resident soap maker, and this week, resident soap dough maker. I've been experimenting with several different recipes, and I've come up with something that seems to work consistently every time. When I first started working on the soap dough recipe, I followed sort of the lead of a few other soap makers and used about 80% hard oils and about 20% soft oils. However, I found that I get more consistent results if I use a large quantity of soft oils. I would even recommend trying a 100% olive oil bar. Now, the recipe that I'm going to give to you is not 100% olive oil because I don't want you to have to stir and stir and stir. It's going to be 80% olive oil and 20% coconut oil. The coconut oil will improve the lathering qualities and give some hardness to the finished soap. You'll also notice that I'm grating the different colors of soap and then kneading them together. I let it sit for about 4.5 days instead of the usual 2 days, and so it had dried and hardened just a little bit more than I wanted it to. I used just a little bit of water, just the amount of water that would stick to my hands, and that was enough, kneading it into each color of dough to soften up the texture and get it to about the same consistency as qYmUtgrk clay, or potter's clay. This is not a soft dough like Play-Doh. It is more of a firm dough. Okay, let's get right to the recipe. Thank you for tuning in to Countryside Network. I'm Melanie Teegarden, resident soap maker. Hoping you have a wonderful day. Safety first. Always put on your goggles and gloves before you begin. We're going to start out with 5.25 ounces of lye in a heat-safe container. Now we're going to measure in 12.15 ounces of water. Next, I measured 25.6 ounces of olive oil. And finally, 6.4 ounces of coconut oil. Next, I will add a small amount of olive oil, just a tablespoon or two, to each one of the different mica colorants I'm using to form a rainbow of colors in my soap dough. When using the stick blender, you only need it for a few seconds. Also, be sure to tap the stick blender on the bottom of the bowl before you begin. This removes air bubbles that may be trapped under the head. We've gone just to a thin trace on this one because we have so many different colors to mix. Also, because I'm just using this for soap dough, I'm not adding any fragrance. My individual soap molds hold 3.5 ounces per bar, so I'm measuring 3.5 ounces of soap batter into each of the different colorants. You'll notice here that my yellow colorant has morphed to orange in the presence of the soap batter. Not to fear, it is safe for cold process soap and will turn back to yellow. It's best to wait about 48 hours to use your soap dough. This allows the batter to finish saponifying so it's gentle on your hands. With this batch, I waited 4 days and the soap got a little bit too hard, so I'm grating it and adding a small amount of moisture to soften it back up again. Just dipping my hands in water provides all the moisture I need to turn this back into a pliable dough. Also, if you'll notice in the bottom right corner of the screen, the yellow mica has morphed back to yellow again. Store each ball of dough in a separate Ziploc bag. It's the prevention of air touching the dough that keeps the dough from hardening.